Hello, we're going to continue our study of themes in Romeo and Juliet. You've already watched a video on how to determine theme in a literary text. Now I'm going to show you how to find evidence to support a theme from a literary text. The theme I've selected is rash actions can lead to bad consequences. This is a universal truth that shows up time and time again in Romeo and Juliet. Romeo and Juliet has 5 acts, and ideally, I'd like to find evidence from each act. I'm going to start with Act 1, so I need to ask myself, what rash actions happen in Act 1 of Romeo and Juliet? One is that there's a fight between the Capulets and the Montagues in the town square. Romeo and Benvolio decide to crash the Capulet party. Tybalt sees Romeo at the party and wants to fight him. Romeo and Juliet meet and kiss immediately. Now I have to ask myself, does this rash action lead to a bad consequence later? I need to answer yes to be able to find evidence to support this theme that rash actions can lead to bad consequences. Could this outcome have been avoided if the character did not commit a rash action? I decided to go with Romeo deciding to go to the Capulet party. In Act 1, Scene 2, lines 103 through 104, he says, "I'll go along, no such sight to be shown, but to rejoice in splendor of mine own." Now, what I'd like you to do in the graphic organizer is look along what I have already written, which is also here in the video. It says, "I will go along, no such sight to be shown, but to rejoice in splendor of mine own." What I've done is I've rewritten this quote, I've explained it, and I've related it to the theme. You will eventually have to do a similar exercise. So, in my rewriting, I said, in this quote, Romeo is saying he will go to the Capulet party, but only because Romeo wants to admire Rosaline. I explained this by saying, Romeo has been very depressed because Rosaline refuses to return Romeo's affections. Benvolio is trying to convince Romeo to go to the Capulet party to get his mind off Rosaline. Finally, I relate this to the theme by saying, this quote illustrates the theme statement, rash actions can lead to bad consequences, because if Romeo hadn't gone to the Capulet party, he would have never met Juliet. If Romeo never met Juliet, they would have never married and subsequently killed themselves. Also, Tybalt and Romeo would have had no reason to fight, and Mercutio's death could have been avoided. Romeo would have also avoided banishment. As you can see, I've taken this quote, rewritten it, explained it, and related it to the theme. Now you'll be doing the same in your groups. Thanks, and let me know if you have any questions.